Yo, what is up guys, Face here and welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day like always, and today I want to be going over the M60, a tier 10 premium American medium tank. But in today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys my opinion on why the M60 could be a better option than the SDB1. Now you guys may think I'm absolutely crazy to think that the M60 is even remotely close to how good the SDB1 is, but that is the whole topic of today's video. I'm going to be giving you guys my full-on opinion on why I think this vehicle could be possibly better than the SDB1. And with that being said, let's head straight into it. Now before I go over my equipment on the M60 and the live battle, I'm first going to go over the Armour Inspector on this tank, and I'm going to compare it to the SDB1 really quickly. Now, as you can see, this is the SDB1 using its standard rounds, not using calibrated shells, shooting at the M60, and as you can see, yeah, that hull armor and that overall armor is absolutely awful. And as you can see, yes, even with the slightest angle, which would be about using 1 degree of your gun depression, it does get a bit red. But if this SDB was using calibrated shells, yeah, as you can see, the M60's armor is nothing to write home about, because it's very easy to even pen the turret of this tank. As you can see, there's some massive weak spots on this vehicle, and it is quite frustrating that the M60 has such a weak turret, because a lot of the times when you go hull down and you're expecting that you're going to bounce some shells, yeah, the only place you're going to bounce shells is on this gun mantlet, and even that, yeah, a lot of the times people are going to go straight through the cheeks of this vehicle, if not the actual hatch. And that is why I think the M60 is just this big box that gets shot at a lot, because it's easy to shoot it when it's this massive, where the SDB1 is very, very small. Now, as you can see, the SDB's turret is overall a lot better than the M60. Its upper hull is also quite troll, because it's right next to a cupola that is only 12 millimeters thick. So that is one area that I think is also very bad about the SDB1. While the SDB1 has a better overall turret than the M60, the M60, when using its full 10 degrees of gun depression, which is actually very nice that it has that, yeah, as you can see, there's no one is going to go straight through that upper plate. It's absolutely impenetrable. However, even at 10 degrees of gun depression, its turret is still absolutely horrendous. Where if the SDB uses its fantastic 11 degrees of gun depression, yeah, you can still pin this upper or little hatch area on its upper hull there, and you will 100% go through it, because it's only 12 millimeters thick. And most of the time, you're actually going to kill the driver of the SDB1. And now, you're probably going to think I'm crazy, because obviously you can see the massive weak spots on the M60's turret. So how could the SDB1 with such a thin turret possibly be worse at going hull down, especially having 11 degrees of gun depression? How can it possibly be worse than the M60? Now, yes, 11 degrees of gun depression allows you to work any ridgeline in the game, no matter what ridgeline. The SDB1 also has this viewing port, which allows you to pen the spots no problem, because it's only 12 millimeters thick, and this means that you're going to go straight through this little viewing port or driver's port, no problem. And because of this, as you can see, the driver is here as well, which means that anyone who shoots that little weak spot over here is going to kill your driver over and over. And this is one thing I hate about the SDB1, is that its driver is killed every single time. And it's kind of frustrating, because when you're fully held down with the SDB1, you feel like a god. However, that quickly falls apart, because, yeah, this little weak spot right here, it means that anybody can go straight through you, no problem. And when they do, it's very frustrating. At 11 degrees on this tank, because it has such a low or short turret, it means that a lot of the time you're exposing this lower plate over here, which allows you to get penned no problem in the SDB1. Where on the M60, because it has such a tall turret, it means that you can use that, you can even use 8 degrees of gun depression, and it feels like you're using 10. So that is why I love the M60. It's a lot better at going hull down, in my opinion, just because of its turret size. Yes, the weak spots on this vehicle are massive. However, because the turret is a lot taller, you can use 8 degrees and it will feel like you're using 10, where on the SDB, you're using 11, but most of the time, because the turret is so short, you are exposing this lower plate, which I'm not really the happiest about, but it is also a thing that you just need to take note of. And if you haven't watched my full-on SDB review, I highly suggest you to go and watch that. There will be a review. There'll be a link at the top right of your screen right about now to go and view that. As well as if you'd like to watch my M48 pattern review, I do highly suggest you to watch that as well. There'll be a link at the top right of your screen again right now. Now, the reason why I like the M60 a bit more than the SDB1 is not necessarily on its armor, because yeah, the SDB overall is going to do a better job when hull down, because of its 11 degrees of gun depression and its smaller footprint, allowing its weak spots to be an actual hard thing to hit. But that is not the reason why I don't like the SDB1 as much as I do the M60. The reason I love the M60 is because of M60's gun is fantastic. You'll see in just a moment in a live battle. But that being said, I think we should actually head into the equipment and the live battle for you guys. It's about time. Now starting off, the M60 is a very old tank. This vehicle was given for free to some players, and this was one of the first tier 10 premium vehicles. And as you can see, it looks absolutely awful because it still does not have PVR graphics. Come on, Wargaming, what are you doing? Anyways, the STB1, we all know its strengths is that it has 11 degrees of gun depression, a solid alpha, and a very decent turret. However, the M60 has all of that except it has 10 degrees of gun depression instead of the 11. However, the M60's gun is what makes everything about this vehicle. Regardless of how bad they are, the gun makes this vehicle very, very good. In the next update, it's getting a slight buff to its top speed. So instead of being 50 kilometers of top speed, it is now going to be 52 kilometers of top speed, which is not the most upgrade out there. I mean, that's all that's happening to the vehicle, so it kind of sucks. However, if you have a look at the gun, if you're running gun rammer, you have 3,500 DPM on this vehicle. Now this is crazy because this is post buff. Now, like you know, a lot of the vehicles, like even the STB1, if you go ahead and check with gun rammer, it's not even close to 3,500 average. And with the vehicle on the STB1, you have very bad pen, which won't be the case in the next update. However, currently, yeah, you're opted to running calibrated shells, making your DPM only 3,000 on the dot, which absolutely sucks for a tier 10 medium tank if you ask me. And the M60, for being such an old vehicle, has really good damage per minute. It has decent enough pen that you can run gun rammer, and for that reason I absolutely love this tank. I mean, you can hit some crazy shots with this vehicle. With that being said, let's head straight into the equipment so that we don't daddle along too long. So starting off, I run gun rammer like I just mentioned. I then run enhanced gun lane drive, refined gun defense system, enhanced armor. And now you may be controversial about this because the tank doesn't really have the greatest of turret armor. You do see that a lot of the times people will butter straight through the turrets, and this is why I would actually opt to running improved assembly, because most of the time that 4% increase won't actually give you that extra bonus in a face hug scenario. So yeah, it's up to you. Do you want to run the increased hit points or the armor? Really up to you. I'm running toolbox to give me that extra 30% increase to its module repair speed, improved optics, engine accelerator, and high-end consumables. Those are pretty straightforward. Now, despite not having the ability to add a camo to this, I do think that it still gets that 3% increase to its camo rating, like on every other medium tank. Like you can see on my SDB1, the Rust in Peace camouflage, which looks pretty sick. I am able to get a 3% increase to my concealment. So I believe the M60 still has that concealment value, even though you can't add a camouflage to it, because this camo that it has is basically a camouflage. Just you can't change it or anything. With that being said, let's head straight into a battle. Now, another very nice thing about this tank is that it moves very fast. I mean, you can hit 50 kilometers in this massive tank very easily. However, like I just said, the downside is that this tank is absolutely huge. Look at the rear of this vehicle. You can pen all of that with high explosive, and that is one reason why I do think that this tank can fall apart really easily. Especially because of its massive size, people can hit you extremely easily. And the turret, while it is pretty strong in some areas, it still has a hatch and a very easy weak spot on the sides of the guns. However, the actual gun itself is extremely accurate, and it hits hard, and it hits all its targets no matter how bad the aiming or your aiming situation is. As you can see on that standard B, I was able to easily snap a shot into his tank no problem, and that is because this gun's dispersion mixed with its fantastic aiming time means that you hit absolutely everything. Now there's a tank you don't really want to deal with, which is an E50M. I get a heat round into the lower plate of his vehicle. However, my Leopard 1 is currently running away, so this kind of means that I need to run away too. But this is a sticky situation, because if our Leopard 1 kind of stayed there and went held down there, he possibly could have helped me out. Yes, he's going to this held down position over here, which is a pretty decent position to counter them. I just think that we could have done a better job at using our fantastic DPM. Me and this Leopard 1 have very similar DPM. But yeah, looks like we're just going to have to do it from the distance right now. This means that they're going to be able to cap that base, unfortunately, but there's nothing really much we can do about this, because I'm not going to sit there alone and wait for those 2 guys or 3 guys to just drop on me. That would be the death of me, literally. Now, at this stage, I can see that our heavy tanks are getting absolutely rushed, and I do think that we need to rush in here, otherwise we're going to lose. Hopefully my Leopard 1 can catch on to this. Our T5, which was AFK, was un-AFK and then just died him in the first second of the game. So yeah, that is unfortunate. He's on 24 HP. I was able to get an HE round into this Type 61 over here. I missed the third shot on him, or the second shot on him, unfortunately. But the one thing I must say about this tank is it does not actually have a lot of HE pen or HE pen, because it doesn't have HE, obviously. Which is unfortunate, but it does mean that you can't pen all your HE rounds some of the times. Like in that situation, obviously in a Type 61, obviously you're going to pen those HE rounds. Now, it just leaves this E50M alive here, and I believe the standard B is on a 2-shot caliber, so we should be able to clear this E50M in no problem. I'm going to take a shot for him because I'm playing kind of silly here, but yeah, their tank destroyers are going to nuke us in a second if we don't manage to clear this E50M. Looks like my Leopard 1 kills their standard B there, which is very nice. I do overextend there, which means that E50 can get a shot into me. Now, this is the only problem with this vehicle, is that its lower plates is absolutely massive, as you can see. And this means that a lot of the times those medium tanks or any person you try poke is going to pen you no problem. I'm going to try bait a shot from him. I'm going to try get a heat round into him. He does manage to pen me, and as you can see, straight through the side of my turret, which is absolutely awful about this vehicle, but I do excel in the DPM category against that player. Now, it just leaves that minnow in the back of the map there, which we can possibly use our fantastic accuracy to get some shots into him. And as you can see, it feels like we didn't really do much in this game, but we were able to rack up a lot of damage. I think that one missed, unfortunately, but maybe we can get another shot into that minnow or into this Hori over here. That Hori can kill me, so I need to play semi-passive here, at least not just overextending myself and letting him kill me here. I'm going to poke around the corner, seeing that he's not aiming at me. He wasn't running the actual top gun, so that is a decent thing at least, but it wasn't like he got the chance to actually shoot me there anyways. Now, it just leaves this minnow alive here. He does have the possibility to high roll and actually kill me. However, I do think we could be able to get one more shot into him if he doesn't just YOLO those players below him. Now, the Leopard gets a shot into him. I'm actually going to go wide here so it can give me more time to get some damage into these players over here. Can maybe use my fantastic DPM with Adrenaline to maybe get one more shot into him before the Leopard does. And we actually cap the bases. I shouldn't have capped base C there, because maybe I would have been able to get another shot out there. However, despite that, we do win our game here. And this is a live battle. It's not cherry picked, so this is what you can possibly expect from the M60. Pull out a second class, which is fair, because this vehicle is played quite a bit by decent players, and they do get a lot of damage in this vehicle. Like I said, 3,500 DPM on this tank means that this tank can rack up damage extremely quickly. Anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think of the M60. Do you think it's possibly better than the STB1? I'm curious if anyone else thinks that the M60 could possibly be a better option than the STB1, because I definitely think that the M60 is actually on par with the STB1, if not better, especially in terms of its absolute fantastic gun. But you guys will just have to let me know in the comment section below, or in my Discord server. There'll be a link to join that in the description of this video. If you guys did enjoy this video, you can leave a like and subscribe. It really helps me out and I greatly appreciate it. We're literally so close from 1,000 subscribers, so from you subscribing, it really pushes me up to my goal, and I'll greatly appreciate it. Anyways, guys, hopefully your shells hit their marks, and I'll check you in the next one. Cheers.